Good evening, good morning to some people, good afternoon to some other people. Well, depending on where you are in the world. It's a great honor to be here with you this month of September on The Moment. And I want to especially welcome those who are joining us for the first time. This is your first time on The Moment, or this is your first time coming across this video. It's a great honor to have you, and I want to thank God for your life. I want to thank God for everything that concerns you. I want you to know that you are not here in this broadcast this evening by accident. You are here because right from the foundation of the earth, it's been ordained that you will find us. And I'm so glad to connect with you this evening. What do we do in the moment? What's our purpose? For the benefit of those that are joining us for the first time, we're here to help everyone experience and enjoy the best in every moment of life. Every moment of life has the best in it. But it's only those who can see it that will experience it. When we go through situations and circumstances in life, it looks like what we are going through is the only thing that is present at that moment. But that is not the truth. The truth is that when that very moment is not good, I want you to know that there is a moment in the midst of that moment called the moment. I call it the moment. So I put it this way, that the moment is the best moment of a moment in life. So in every moment that you are in, no matter what you are enjoying, maybe what you are enjoying is great, is awesome, is excellent. I want you to know there is always a moment in that moment or in that situation, let me put it that way, that is still better than what you are enjoying. So never at any time settle for the least. There is the best available for you in every moment in life. Right. This is the end of the third quarter. The third quarter of the year 2023 is getting to an end. And when it's getting to an end, is running to an end like this, a lot of people think about different things. There are different ideas outside there. Some people, look at it from the perspective of, well, when it's wrapping up, a lot of bad things happen. Some people look at it as when it's wrapping up, well, it means that I can't get anything good to happen anymore because I don't really have so much time left. In fact, the 3 months that is left for some people, it's like there is nothing I can get done that can be done in 3 months if I can't get it done in 9 months. If 9 months has passed and I didn't get it done, forget it. It can't happen in 3 months. But I have a good news for you today. That 3 months, it's too much to get it done. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to turn around and look at everything and just write it off. No. I want you to listen to me this evening because I'm here to help you. I'm here to walk with you in order for you to be able to experience whatever you desire. And that's why I title this for us, Getting the Result You Want in the Last Quarter of the year 2023. What is it that you want in this year that looks like it will not happen again because you are looking at time, or because you are looking at your present situation, or because you are looking at something that has happened or something that has not happened? You see, and because of that, you just write it off. That there's nothing I can do. Nothing is going to happen for me again. So let's just throw it away. Let's begin to plan towards the year 2024. It's okay to start planning for 2024 now, but I don't want you to give up that which you desire in 2023 because it's a possibility. Look at somebody around you. If there is nobody around you, I want you to tap yourself and tell yourself, what I desire in the year 2023 is a possibility. Yes, I will get it. Yes, it's available. You see, I want you to understand something. Everything that you desire, no matter what that thing is, it's already in existence. That you have not seen it does not mean it's not in existence. You see, that you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not there. It's available in the realm of the spirit. You see, it's not something that you can see with your physical eyes. You see, and that's why I always say this, that there is the spiritual dimension of everything in life. There is the spiritual dimension of everything in this life. You see, and one of the things that I said last month is that word, consider the spiritual dimension first, because the things that you see happening in the physical, they are things that happen in, or they have already happened in the spiritual. And for you to be able to experience them physically, you must be able to connect with it in the spiritual before you can connect with it in the physical. So let's begin the journey for this evening, for the moment, for our broadcast this evening. You know, I want us to look at two scriptures, and I want us to get the principle from those two scriptures. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 8, it reads, "Better is the end of a thing than the beginning of it." And that first part is what we want to dwell on. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning of it. Look at that. The end of a thing is better than the beginning. So for you and I, if we look at the principle of that word, the end of this year is better than the beginning of this year for us. For you, for me, for all of us. But not everybody is going to experience it like that. Even for us that says that, it doesn't mean we will experience that if we don't know how to connect with that. We've got to understand how to connect with that better that is available in the end that was not available in the beginning. The end is always, you see, in God's agenda, better than the beginning. Let's look at another scripture that looked like it. Let's build this foundation on that. Job chapter 8, verse 7. You see, the guy that was talking about this was one of Job's three friends that was talking about this. But the guy didn't really understand what he was saying, but he was saying the truth. He was one of the descendants of Abraham. Look at what he said. He said, "And though you started with little, you will end with much." It's like that Ecclesiastes that we read. Though you started with little, you will end with much. That means better is the end than the beginning. You see, and this is the foundation for us for this last quarter of the year 2023. Better is the end of this year compared to the first 9 months together. Did you get what I'm talking about? I said when you put the 9 months together, whatever good you have experienced, whatever awesome thing you have experienced, whatever excellent thing that you have experienced, it's incomparable to what your experience will be in the next 3 months if you can get to understand and agree with what I'm talking about this evening. Because the end is always better. Let's look at that Job again. Job chapter 8, verse 3 again. He says, and though you started with little, you will end with much. You see, though you started with little, you will end with much. Man, you got to get somebody, you got to get that and write it on your refrigerator. Write it somewhere where you can see it. Make it your home screen. Make it the home screen of your phone. Put it everywhere. Put it everywhere. Put those things everywhere. You see, I was looking at a couple of examples. You see, I look at the children of Israel when they were in the land of slavery in Egypt. It took them 420 years. So it was generation upon generation that was in that suffering. But look at the end of that suffering. It was much, much better than the beginning for them. You see? When they were coming in, they didn't come in with gold, but they left with gold. You see, God gave them favor with the people of Egypt. And what happened? They left with the gold of the land when they were leaving. Look at when they were leaving, right? It looks like the end was going to be so terrible, horrible for them. It looks like that was going to be their own end. And I'm talking to somebody this evening. Hear me, somebody. When you look at the present situation, it looks like, oh, there is no hope for anything. Yes, the children of Israel were in that state where there was no hope when they got to the Red Sea. It looks like there was no hope for them anymore. Yes, that situation of your life look very hopeless now. But listen, you cannot afford to focus on the hopelessness of that situation. You got to begin to focus on the end that is better than the beginning. Because if you continue to focus on the hopelessness of that situation, then that is what is going to be your experience till the end. Listen, for 420 years, it looks like it wasn't going to change. Nothing was going to change. That was what it looks like. It looks like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. Right? But one day, and even that one day didn't look like it was going to be great. You see? Right? The children of Israel got to the Red Sea, and behind them was what? Was Pharaoh's chariots coming to do what? Kill all of them. So it was like if nothing good was going to happen. Yes, that's exactly what you feel like now. That's exactly what your experience is like now. But remember something, that very day, these folks crossed the Red Sea. The impossible in less than 24 hours happened. So no matter how long that situation has been for you, for some people, maybe that situation has been there for a couple of months or for right from January till this September that we're talking about. So it doesn't look like it's going to go. It looks like, man, this is a permanent situation. But I want you to know something. One day, it changed. Look at the children of Israel when they got to Jericho. You see, Jericho had fence. The whole land was fenced around. And the Bible recorded that when the Jericho people got the wind of the children of Israel coming, they shut their gates. The Bible says nothing was going out and nothing was coming in. Likewise, maybe it's like that for you right now. It looks like nothing was going out, nothing was coming in for you. So it looks hopeless. You see, there was nothing working. Everything was shut in, right? Right? But look at something. 7 days. 7 days. They followed God's instruction. On the seventh day, that wall of Jericho crumbled. The beginning of the seventh day was not as good as the end of the seventh day for them. Wow. You see? So the end was better than the beginning for them. You see, the things they didn't have at the beginning of the seventh day, they had much more than that at the end of the seventh day. At the end of the seventh day, if you look at it naturally, you say, well, they will all die. But the wall crumbled. That wall didn't fall. It crumbles. Right? That was what happened. You see, Apostle Paul was talking in the book of Romans, chapter 8. He went through turbulent time, chapter 8, verse 37. And Apostle Paul said something. Why? Because his mind was always at the end instead of in the present situation. The present situation was horrible, was terrible, if you read what was going on there. So in verse 37 of Romans chapter 8, look at what Apostle Paul said. He said, no, despite all these things, overwhelming victory is ours through Christ who loved us. Listen, the guy was in trouble. The guy was going through tough time. And he was talking about overwhelming victory. Why? Because his mind was not on the moment, on that very moment. His mind was in the moment. Did somebody get what I mean by that? I said his mind was at the end. His mind was seeing the moment, the best of that moment that others couldn't see. So he didn't allow that very moment, he didn't allow that situation to keep him down, to keep him low, to get him anxious, to get him angry, to run negative emotions. You see, he kept his focus, his attention on the end, because the end is better than the beginning. So, there are many things that happen, with their end. For those things that I shared with you, those three examples that I shared with you, many other things happen in the Bible that some people did not even end great. It ended, worse than the beginning. But what is the difference between those who experience the end better than the beginning and the ones who experience the end worse than the beginning? What's that? So for you and I, what is the difference? See? What is the difference? Look at it. Hear this. You see? It was how the people in the situation applied themselves. I was talking about Apostle Paul earlier. What did he do? He applied himself to the end, even in the beginning. The children of Israel didn't get to the Red Sea and turn back. God said, go forward. You see, when the Red Sea parted, these folk can say, hey, I'm not going to get inside that place. I've never seen this before. I will rather go back. They were planning to go back before, but when the Red Sea parted, these folk moved forward. You see, they applied themselves to what matter, the principles that matter, the principles of going forward. That's what they did. They applied themselves. You see? So it's very important that we apply ourselves no matter what the situation is. We've got to apply ourselves to the principle of the end is better than the beginning. We've got to apply ourselves. So, a better end of the year is inevitable when your thoughts are positive, right? Constructive and loving. Take note of that. I want to say that again. I said a better end of the year is inevitable when your thoughts are positive, constructive, and what? Loving. How can this happen? How can my thought be positive? How can my thought be constructive? How can my thought, how can my thought be loving? You see, how can it be? How can my thought be constructive? How can my thought be loving? How will all this happen? I want to share just two things with us, and then we will continue, as we continue in the year. We'll continue to go, we'll continue to move like that as we go in the year. So, number one, right? Let me get that number one for you. Get your mind to accept this truth. There are some truth that is so important. Get your mind to accept this truth. What is that truth? The first truth is this: better is the end for me than the beginning. What did I say? Better. You got to accept it. Your mind got to accept this. You see, you got to say this to yourself to the point that your mind is fully interwoven with this. Better is the end for me than the beginning. Better is the end for me than the beginning. Right? And then the second truth is this: I will end with much more than in the beginning. Did you see that? So let's go over those truths again. The two of them. Let's go over it again. Let's go back to the first one. It said, better is the end for me than the beginning. The second truth is, I will end with much more than in the beginning. And this is what you got to tell yourself. You got to let your mind accept this. You see, we can't change anything if we don't get to this point. Why am I saying that? Everything that God already created for you responds to your faith or conscious mind acceptance. Hallelujah. Hear that? I said, let me say it again. Everything that God already created for you responds to your faith or conscious mind acceptance. Everything. In the realm of the spirit, God has created everything. Right? Right? But in order for us to experience them in the physical, we've got to do what? We've got to bring it to the point where our mind is in agreement with it. Until our mind is in agreement with it, that's why I said everything that God already created for you responds to your faith. And when I mean your faith, I'm talking about conscious mind acceptance. You consciously, you intentionally accept it. So now when we talk about what we want to see at the end of the year, what we want to see in this last 3 months of the year, you see, what do? We accept the principle of the end. Better is the end for me than the beginning. 2, I will end with much more than I begin with this year. Right. So, you see, remember that I said earlier that a better end of the year is inevitable when your thoughts are positive, constructive, and loving. These are positive thoughts. You see, these are what? Constructive thoughts. Right? These are positive thoughts. These are constructive thoughts. Right? You see, these are thoughts that is loving. They are not angry. They are not words that will get you angry, and you're getting angry and getting angry with this and getting angry with the situation. Listen, the situation at the moment, it's likely to get you very angry. You don't want to talk to anybody. You can get to the better end like that. That's not the way to go. You see, you've got to change the thought. You've got to bring in the right word in order to change what determines what you are thinking about all the time. You see, and in order for you to have this positive, constructive, and loving thought, number 2 thing is what? Position yourself in the end. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by you positioning yourself in the end? It means what? Begin to feel the reality of what you want. What do you want? In this last last 3 months, of the year, in this last quarter of this year, what do you want? What is it that is better for you than the beginning? What is the feeling of that thing? Let me give you an example. The feeling of health produces health. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. So, what is the feeling of what you want in this next 3 months? Today is the 29th of September, right? Right. We have less than 48 hours to moving into October. What exactly do you want in this next 3 months? Listen, this is what you got to do. Leave what is not working. Getting anxious and getting angry with what is not working will not change it. This is what will change it. What exactly is the result that you want, that you are not seeing in that thing that is not working? Connect with the feeling of it when it's working. What does it look like when it works? What does it feel like when it's working? When it's exactly what you want, right? You need to connect with that feeling. That is what? Connecting with the end from the beginning. You see, what you are doing is that what? You are creating what is already in existence in the realms of the spirit in the physical realm. You are bringing it, you see, you are bringing it into physical manifestation when you connect your feelings. See, you have connected your mind by what? By accepting the principle of the end from the beginning, right? The better end from the beginning. Then connect your feelings. I'm going to begin to take us on this journey as we continue in the remaining part of this year, because the end of the year is not full of calamity. You know, when we were growing up, we heard that a lot, that the end of the year, oh, it's full of calamity, it's full of accident, it's full of sorrow, it's full of pain. Listen, if you connect with that in your mind, that's exactly what your experience will be. Your experience will not be better than that. So that's why in this broadcast, we are here to connect you with the best that is already available for you that you cannot see with your physical eyes. So don't wait to see it. You see, the best thing is what? Connect with it with your mind, then connect with it with your feelings. Then it becomes a reality for you. This is where I'm going to leave you, but I don't want you to forget this, right? By next month, we'll be back. Don't forget this. You are better than what you see, more than what you know, greater than what you look like. I'll see you next month by the special grace of God. Love you. Have a wonderful night.